basic question from the beginning, but other than one it's paper up, how do you pick a blog and get more readers when you start?
That's to be absolutely shameless and relentless, basically. Keep doing it as much as you can. Also, if you write really stupid posts about really sort of hot button topics, like I did a throwaway post one lunchtime last year called Top 10 Photos 9/11 Conspiracy Theories Tape. And it was a fairly crap article. It took me about 10 minutes to put together because it only takes about 10 minutes to debunk any 9/11 theory. But that's now, well, within a month or so, it had something like 200,000 visitors on it. Hundreds and hundreds of comments, lots and lots of truthers that were really very angry and annoyed at me. And my audience was enormous. My audience consisted at that point almost entirely of angry conspiracy theorists. That wasn't the best idea, although at least I was reaching out to the other side. But I think you've just got to be a bit patient, and you need a bit of luck. When I stumbled across the Daily Mail story about the vaccine, the fact that they were against it in the UK and supporting it and campaigning for it in Ireland, I found that out, posted it, and then Graham Linehan, the right guy, Father Ted, found out about it, and he posted it on his blog and linked back to my site, and Ben Goldacre was very kind and generous, and then my server crashed completely, so the benefit from that was lost as well, but gradually you get there, and you build an audience. You've just got to be persistent, keep blogging, keep writing, keep pinging.
Can I add a note of scepticism? In that, I don't think you should be too worried about it. I think you should be more worried about the quality, the sort of person who's coming to your site, rather than sheer volume in it. And that will happen. I think there are different audiences out there, you need to be aware of that. I mean, for every homeopath or truther or a religious idiot who comes, it's a completely wasted hit on your server, essentially. And a more general note of scepticism as well. I think we ought to be careful about becoming too enamoured with the internet per se. Okay? We need to, if we're activists, we're not going to change the world on the internet. Okay? We need to take the business view of it. We need a multi-channel strategy. We need to make sure it's linked up with radio shows and with newspapers and television. I think Ariane was here just now with buses, fantastic idea. Skeptics in the pub is absolutely superb as it starts getting it out there into the community. So don't worry about raw numbers. Think of your website as part of your strategy for doing whatever it is you want to do.
If I could pick up on that rant slightly as well, so I completely agree with that. I do think, we're sitting here and the title of the panel is about the internet, I think. But we do really need to get out there. We ought to be on TV, on the radio, in schools, in town halls. We need to be, even on the internet, we need to be going to different places. Mothering forums and websites are absolutely huge in the UK. There's a big audience there, saturated with people selling woo, and I think having a sort of sceptical presence, a bunch of people who go on some of those forums and engage with some of those people and show them the other side is a very valuable thing. And I think it is true that a lot of sceptical blogs together, we don't have a very good way of analysing the audience that we have or who visits us, but certainly you do get the impression that there's a real echo chamber effect.
That is a big problem. It's one of the things in the stuff that I'm doing on Skeptools. I'm trying to do some research now and trying to actually measure, how many skeptical websites are out there, how many, who has the best traffic, and do the same thing on the woo side, so that, for instance, we should be able to answer the question, what is the most trafficked homeopathy blog? Or, we should be able to answer that question, and that's the blog that maybe we should pay close attention to. Some of those answers we know. I mean, obviously Discovery.org is the headquarters for the creationists and whatnot, but I think we need to be doing more measurement and more science in how we attack this on the internet instead of this kind of ad hoc, let's Google bomb Matthias Rath's name to Ben Goldacre's article about it. It's like, okay, that's good, but you can't Google bomb everything every week. We need to do some more systematic sort of things so that we know we're reaching the right people and we know we're responding to the right blog posts, not necessarily writing a skeptical post that inadvertently draws attention to someone that no one was paying attention to in the first place.
There's an issue of, I think, conviction and perspective too. If you are going to do this, the last reason you want to involve yourself in a podcast or a blog or a video cast is for numbers. No one on this panel, I think no one that you listen to or enjoy started doing their program with the thought of, hey, maybe I can get a few thousand hits. Every single person does it because they're doing one. I don't want to call it what it is, but
10,000.
no, seriously, every single person does it because they have a conviction. And the reason you get people to listen to your program is because you have a conviction. And the other thing is the great Evo Terra pointed this out to me once. He's talked about this on his, he's sort of the podfather, secondary podfather. He said, if you do a show, a weekly show, let's say, and you have 300 listeners, or 200 listeners, or 500 listeners, in the span of the inner tubes, that's not much. But imagine if you were to give a lecture in your hometown every week, and every week 300 people came. That would be incredible. You know, or 500 people, or 1,000 people came to your lecture every week. And you can do this internationally, which is the beauty of what we're doing. So again, just to ride along, because I've never done, I'm trying to think, I don't think I've ever consciously done something to improve my numbers. You know, I don't like to put commercials into my thing, I don't like to link, I don't like to ask people to play my stuff. If they want to, great. If there's something I really enjoy, I'll link to it. It's my conviction. And I think people appreciate that. And every single one of you can do that, so you get a couple hundred people. It's pretty priceless. So.
At the risk of repeating what everyone else on the panel has said, I agree directly with that opinion that, you know, if you do something good, your audience finds you. You don't necessarily need to promote it. But you know, if you feel you do need to promote it, there is also a community that you belong to. And all these people have blogs and podcasts, and everybody else will promote your thing if it's any good.
I'll just jump in real quick and say that I disagree with everything you all said. Slightly. No, I think they're all good points, but I do think it's possible to do something really wonderful and talented in a complete vacuum, and no one will ever find you, because it just won't happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, but, you know, you do have to start, and you can also do something really shit, and you can get tons of hits. For instance, the Truther thing is a good point. Crack.com is a really fantastic humor website, and they have a formula, and that formula is the top X of all time. You know, and that's all they do. The top, you know, photos that piss off truthers of all time. Like that stuff drives traffic. It just does. And you know, there is, you know, if you're doing something, I think it is natural to want people to see it. And so I just want to give you a quick example of somebody who I think has done a good job of it. There's a guy who goes by the name Some Canadian Skeptic on Skepchick, and that's how I found out about him, is that he comments on Skepchick posts, and he writes good comments that make me, like, I read them all, but his I remember because they're good. He actually gives me quality content. And we have on Skepchick a little form where you can send us links and news items, which we use every day. We have a quickies post every day. And we get like the bulk of those from our readers. So it's a real back and forth. This guy, Some Canadian Skeptic, has a blog. And every now and again, when he knows he's written something really quality that he knows is going to be perfect on Skepchick and the quickies, he'll send us a link and say, you know, sorry, this is me, you know, this is my website. I think you guys will like that. And he's always right. We always do like it. So he's not sending us like every single thing he does. That would get annoying. We start ignoring him. And it's a natural way for us for him to make sure that we're paying attention to him. Because there's a lot of crap out there and it's difficult to sort through it. And so being persistent, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with putting yourself out there and saying, you know, finding your niche and saying, hey, you, I'm a big fan of yours, I think you'll like this thing that you just inspired me to do. And if it's good, then yeah, you're going to get noticed.